Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the Toyota Innova Krista. Now this is a modified version of the Toyota Innova Krista. As you can see, the lights are bright and nice because it gets these aux beam LEDs and they are so bright right into my eyes right now. Anyways, as you can see, the Innova is a nice looking car. The second generation definitely looks really nice and pleasant because there's a lot of Lexus design elements here. But this particular car has been modified rather tastefully. So it's got bigger wheels, it's got a side footstep, the roof has been wrapped in gloss black, and let's straight away get to the wheels. These are Michelin tires. The tire size happens to be 245 45 17s. Silver colored car, sort of golden colored rims, really goes along pretty well. So as you can see, the Innova is actually a very pleasant looking car, and although it's big in terms of dimensions, it doesn't look ungainly at all. Coming to the rear, the tail lights come from Taiwan, and even the bumper lights have been revised. It's got a crash guard there, and there's a reflector as well. So these lights, okay, I don't know if you can see them, they're not reflectors, but they look really very nice. Fog lights, I believe. These lights look really sexy. Just look at the lights. Yeah, they look really very nice. And there's a roof spoiler as well, gloss black finish, Innova Krista written right there. Side footstep is a nice thing, easy ingress and egress. So certainly the Innova is a pleasant looking car without a second thought. Anyways, let's straight away get inside, which means opening the door and realizing that this is a 7-seater. Meanwhile, the last row has been folded right now, but people, or rather children, can comfortably sit in there. Adults too can sit in the last row. So it's a very practical car in that sense. Okay, here you have to pull it a bit, so you can see there is plenty of storage space when the seats have been put up. Meanwhile, you can actually travel with a lot of luggage in spite of having all the seats down, because you can actually put 2 suitcases here as well. I know I had an Innova before, so yes, that's also true. So build quality is really very nice. It's a Toyota, practical, good amount of storage space, good amount of space at the rear. These captain seats are really nice as well. So I mean, back support is great. Seat has good amount of width as well. Under thigh support is a bit lacking for a tall passenger like me, but the cabin is wide enough so you can actually sit someone in the center for real short journeys. Now you get a tray here. Again, they're trying to replicate aircraft grade comfort in this vehicle. If you want to increase the legroom here, that's how easy it is. Yeah, that is how easy it is. Hello, Volkswagen Vento. Anyways, there's a 12-volt charging socket, and overall this car just feels so well put together. I love this treatment, okay, with these lights. Looks really beautiful. AC vents, AC controls, lot of light placements everywhere. AC vents are placed everywhere, even in the third row. Definitely a very practical car, nicely made. Seats are super duper awesome as well. This is the kind of car you expect from Toyota. You don't expect an Etios, but unfortunately they do give us that car. Anyways, obviously you got a request sensor here. I love how easy it is to climb in. Now the driver door, or rather the driver door, which is the thing I was saying earlier, has good amount of storage space, lot of buttons. These are for the power windows, these are for the, okay, something started right now, I think that was the Swift. Anyway, so this is to lock or unlock the vehicle. These are the controls for the power windows. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirrors, and this is for the parking sensor. This is to open the hood, this is to open the fuel lid, proper dead pedal. This is the engine start stop button. Lights making a lot of noise right now. Okay, the driver's seat gets electric adjust, and climbing in is super duper easy. Thanks for bombing my vlog. Anyways, let's get inside. So there is storage space here. You can keep a cup holder without any issue. The dashboard design is really very nice. In fact, I remember when Toyota was launching the Innova, they had a meter drive, and when I went for the drive, they told me specifically how much effort went to make this mold, just this mold, because super wide, no auto dimming inside rear view mirror, which is disappointing. There's a sunglass holder here, and there is a mirror along with a light here, which is again a nice touch. Meanwhile, same is the case here as well. Mirror along with with a light. Now because this is a Toyota, everything feels built to last. Absolutely crazy. Lot of lights here. The only thing which I think is missing in this vehicle happens to be a sunroof. All right, so many things lying in this car. This car has done barely 400 kilometers, but it feels like a wardrobe already with too many things lying here and there. Okay, to be guilty, my GoPro is charging here too. Anyways, cup holder with a lot of coins. Meanwhile, below the front center armrest, there's good amount of space as well. This is the handbrake of the vehicle, eco mode, power mode, traction control button, and these are the controls for the air conditioning. It has got twin glove boxes. This is the key of the Verna, which is standing right there, and you can see the top glove box is big enough. Meanwhile, the lower one, okay, how do you open this? There it opens, is also decent size, not really big as such. Cruise control. Why is the steering pointing the wrong way? Let's turn on the vehicle, and there it rose to life, and it definitely rose to life. I love the instrument cluster. I love how the Innova's silhouette is projected there in the center in the multi-information display. A lot of information on offer, so you can browse through that like this. Navigation, audio, as well as messages. Basically, you can get into settings as well. It'll tell you what's the speed, average speed, and how much is the distance to empty. Eco indicator, eco score as well. What is the eco saving like? And oh my god, that's a lot of information. I love the whole treatment to the speedometer as well as the tachometer there. Meanwhile, okay, these are the controls for the lights. These are the controls for the wipers. The wipers work really well. A lot of spray on offer. And like I told you, these are the controls for the multi-information display. These are the controls for the voice commands, telephone, as well as the audio system. Well, okay, it could have done with paddle shifters for sure. This is for the cruise control, of course. Now, this screen is super duper awesome and clear. Get into reverse parking camera is nice. It gets guidelines, but the guidelines are not adaptive. There's a clock here. What a practical car. Really love the quality levels here. Super duper well finished indeed. Seats are extremely comfortable as well. So certainly Toyota has made a car which lives up to the Innova tagline, or rather it lives up to the Toyota tagline. In fact, you can see the rear view mirrors are also big enough, and although the A-pillar is a little large due to that quarter glass in the center, everything else seems splendid inside the Innova. Let's play an audio right away. Audio quality is really very nice, and obviously this car also gets a CD player here. It also gets Apple CarPlay. It also gets Android Auto connectivity. So yes, it's pretty connected in that sense. And there are USB ports here. There's a 12-volt charging socket as well. So practical, really very practical indeed. And this key has got a special covering right now, so you can't really see the original. You have to remove it. But the original key is also really nicely done. I mean, you know, Toyota has not cut corners here. But you know, storage space, nice. For a cup holder, a lot of thought has been gone inside this vehicle. In fact, this car has an obnoxious amount of cup holders. How many? Well, click here to see that. Let's get driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means getting into drive mode, getting into power mode. Yeah, and now it's time to turn off traction control turned off, getting into sport for the gearbox as well, turning off the hazard light, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Yeah, ignore the water splashing part, but let me tell you straight away that the beauty of the Innova Crysta is the fact that it no longer feels sluggish. I mean, performance is really very peppy. Now obviously I'm driving the 2.8 liter version, which produces 174 horsepower, and the torque output is equally impressive at 360 Newton meters, which comes in at low 1200 RPM. The motor is very punchy indeed, and there is some amount of lag lower down, which is masked brilliantly by this 6-speed torque converter gearbox. In fact, this gearbox isn't really fast. It kind of revs more than it moves, but it just gives the Innova Crysta so much oomph. In fact, performance is not an issue at all. You know, you get hard into the throttle, it immediately downshifts and thrusts you forward. But whenever you get into sport mode, it always reaches 4th gear somehow. I don't know why. This is not something which only happens with the Crysta. It also happens with Lexus car. It's a Toyota problem of putting it into 4th gear right away for reasons best known to them. So as you can see, performance is more than adequate. In spite of this vehicle weighing all of 1875 kgs, it is a heavy car. There is no two ways about it. But in spite of all that weight, it just feels so punchy. Performance is super smooth, the motor is super refined. This new GD series of engines are super duper awesome indeed, replacing the KD series engine which was there in the older Innova, the 2.5 liter unit. Now we have a 2.4 as well as a 2.8, more or less similar in terms of hardware, but definitely the characteristic of this motor is punchy performance in the mid-range. Redline comes in at 4,500 RPM, which by the way feels a bit too soon, but then this is a big diesel engine and it doesn't disappoint in terms of performance. But where it disappoints is in terms of fuel economy, because the car weighs more, 200 kgs more than its predecessor. Obviously fuel economy has dived down, and the reason for the increase in weight is obviously because the size of the car has increased massively. Already the Innova was a big car, with people saying that how can you drive such a massive vehicle in the city? Well, it's just grown in size and no one except me is complaining. Air conditioning off. There's so much punch on offer that it actually spins its wheels immediately. Revs fast enough, definitely more refined than before, but yes, there is still some amount of noise coming from this motor which cannot be denied, right? Rear wheel drive, which means that obviously it is paired to a body on frame platform. That is the reason why it has tons and tons and tons of body roll around the corners. But the bigger problem is the steering wheel. Now it is a hydraulic unit, old school, so it has some feel and feedback at higher speeds, but feels quite vague in the center head position at higher speeds and feels obnoxiously heavy at lower speeds. This steering is super duper heavy at lower speeds, which makes parking cumbersome. Further adding to the woes of driving this car is the fact that, you know, there's so much roll around the corners because of the size. So it's not really a car you can do stuff like this around, because every time you do this, every passenger will flip right, left and center. Thankfully the car has pretty much a lot of space so people can accommodate themselves spinning all around. Now over expansion joints you can feel a bit of that stiffness. Ride quality isn't the best at low speeds because it's a body on frame platform, so that uneasiness is there and that firmness can be felt, but it flattens out beautifully well as you get going, really smoothens out beautifully well, and overall ride quality is quite brilliant. And that is again a place where Toyotas make big leaps with the Innova, because the ride quality of the Crista is just amazing, and that is one of the reasons why it's so popular in the cab market. But the real reason why the Innova is so popular in the cab market is because it's a very reliable car. Okay, often it says a Toyota car will outlive its owner. Well, let's not talk about the Etios here, but the Innova lives by that tagline. It is so freaking well built and can gobble up the miles and the kilometers without any hesitation whatsoever. Braking performance is also very good, but then there is some amount of nosedive under heavy braking. Yeah, wheel spin baby, wheel spin. And as long as you don't push the throttle hard, there is no problem whatsoever in terms of refinement. But get past 3000 RPM and the vehicle becomes quite vocal as well. Now there are 3 drive modes on offer. There's the eco mode for the cabbies, there's the normal mode for the ignorant, and then there is the power mode, which I'm driving in right now. And in power mode, it really feels so much more punchier. Definitely there's a big leap in performance. It feels super eager somehow, and the gearbox is just too eager to shift gears, sometimes shifting gears when you don't even need it. Okay, now this has to be very calculative because yeah, the car has some amount of roll, but there's a big problem with the Innova's image. Right now when I was crossing, people were like, oh okay, are you a cabbie, can I get a lift? Well, that is the unfortunate image of Toyota, not only in India but globally as well. Toyota is a taxi company. Okay, right now what does the Etios and the Etios Lever do? Well, they sell in taxi markets. Obviously a lot of cabbies buy it, Ola, Uber, all of those, and the Innova too is massively there in the cab segment. What about the Fortuner? Well, that is bought by people who prefer to sit in the rear bench, so that's driven by chauffeurs. Meanwhile, the Glanza, well, I don't even know who buys that, honestly. Please tell me if you bought a Glanza and why did you buy one? Why not get the Baleno, the original? Anyways, I'm digressing way too much, but I have to mention that the Camry is usually used by hotels only, which means that Toyota is actually a taxi company, which is not a bad thing at all, because taxis should be reliable and comfortable, and the Innova is splendid in that regard. It's comfortable, it has a lot of space on offer, and although it has a lot of body roll around the corners, which just demotivates drivers to push it hard, which means that you are kind of safe. Yeah, it has got 7 airbags as well. So Toyota has done a splendid job with the Innova Crista without a doubt. And if you think that you're polluting the environment by buying a diesel car, well, Toyota says here, address your guilt by purchasing a petrol powered Innova, which has a 2.7 liter engine, has punchy performance definitely, revs freely as well, but then consumes all the petrol that you can imagine. I would certainly never recommend a petrol powered Innova, neither a petrol powered Fortuner, but they exist for reasons best known to Toyota itself. it leaps ahead because the performance is so good. You know, when Toyota used to sell the first generation Innova, that had 102 horsepower. This one has 174. You can imagine the leap in terms of performance is just splendid. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes just 11.5 seconds. 11.5 seconds for an MPV is absolutely staggering. Top speed, well, it will easily nudge past 160 kilometers per hour. If that's not fast for an MPV, I don't know what is, honestly. So performance is something you can't really complain about, but then you definitely expect a lot more features from this vehicle. And I don't know, there's some festival of, what festival is going on here? And talking about the features that I would certainly expect from an Innova at this price point happens to be a sunroof. A sunroof should be present without a doubt, and I need a physical button for the volume as well, because just this is too time consuming for me to reduce the volume and increase it as well. Now there is a function here wherein you can play a video, which is disabled if you're driving the car, but there's some mod which has been done to this particular vehicle. Even if your handbrake is down, even when you're driving it, you can actually watch a movie. Well, that sounds unsafe, but then people who are sitting on the other side might definitely want to indulge into watching a movie. But then again, let's not forget that, you know, they rather have it at the rear. Okay, I am so intrigued by the performance of the car. I love the sound as well. The sound isn't unrefined as such, but yes, there is a lot of sound. It gets boomy as well, but overall performance, hard to complain about, honestly. There's so much grip on this car. It's insane how much amount of grip it has, because it's obviously running on wider tires, which does aid in terms of grip. Immediate, absolute immediate punch from the motor. Can you guess how many variants are on offer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, that's right. 20 variants are on offer of the Innova Crysta, which means there is a variant for almost every cabbie out there, honestly. Stop laughing, that didn't even sound funny. Anyways, so you have so many variants on offer of the Innova Crysta, which is absolutely insane. But you know, a lot of those variants are also because of the fact that it comes in 7-seater with captain seats or 8-seater for the cabbies. Meanwhile, the good news is that the entry level price is very attractive, 18 lakhs on road Mumbai. However, the car I'm driving right now happens to be the top of the line. It is the 2.8 liter, which only comes with an automatic gearbox. The pricing of this car, no, actually there's another variant above this, the Touring Sport, that is priced at 28.5 lakhs, which is pretty expensive for what it offers. Agreed, it offers the kind of reliability you will not get from any other brand, but then at the end of the day, you are paying a lot for the reliability and the Toyota badge as well. But then the Innova cannot be written off, because there is no other car which even comes close in offering the level of quality, resale, reliability, and definitely performance as well, because performance is not an issue anymore. Want to make a quick overtake? Well, even on an Innova, it's super duper easy, because this car absolutely punches forward without any hesitation whatsoever. The 6-speed gearbox could have been aided by paddle shifters, but you can manually take control of things, which is again a good thing here. You see, downshifting there becomes vocal, and red lines. Okay, it's not going to upshift unless and until I decide to do so, which means that it's a nice gearbox which absolutely agrees in, you know, following your commands as well.
The Scorpio.
The Wagoner went like this. So the cow came, that Wagoner braked, the Wagoner went like this on 2 wheels.
Oh my god.
Cows are such an issue, man. What is happening?
No, seriously, that Wagoner.
That Wagoner was going to get into that Grand i10. Insane shit, man. Insane.
I think that Wagoner guy must be like...
He might be in complete shock, man. Oh man, shit. Ask him what happened. What happened?
A cow just randomly jumped.
We saw you on 2 wheels.
I literally was on 2 wheels.
Yeah, I mean, it's super dangerous.
I think it was just God's grace, man.
Yeah, you were like on 2 wheels. You were just going to go to that Grand i10.
No. I had no control when I had to do this thing. Luckily, while I was on 2 wheels, I got to put it in the opposite direction. So it actually got the balance back.
Yeah, but that was crazy, man. These cows are crazy, man. They just jump out of nowhere.
I mean, till that, it was probably just a calf. It's not a huge cow. Like, I couldn't even see it just jump. I mean, either way, if I had hit the cow, I would have definitely got a hit. But at least that wouldn't have been a.
Yeah, you were like
Complete.
this, and you know, just before that, we also encountered the same thing. He jumped, so we slowed down. We stopped on the left to work what's happening.
But the problem is, at my level, I couldn't see the cow at all. Jesus.
Okay, no, take care, man.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, drive safe. That's super scary, man. WagonR on two wheels. Even Ajay Devgan won't be able to balance it.
No, but I'm wondering, how did it get into two wheels?
It went because he braked hard and he saw the car, so he swerved. So when he swerved now, so obviously thankfully the car did not topple. It went on two wheels. And I mean, it reminded me of that movie. Some monkey was driving to Ooty, and then I think Amir Khan is in that, and it was insane. This car can actually do a burnout. I kid you not, it can easily do a burnout. That is the level of thrust on offer somehow. What an excellent product from Toyota, absolutely scintillating. Okay, the first generation was extremely boring. It was so boring that you would look at one and go to sleep. The new one, where it looks quite striking. So Toyota's like really made a mark with the Innova, and obviously they started with the Qualis, and let's not get started with the Qualis because Qualis was so bland that it was like somebody had an intention. We don't want to sell a single unit, but we have to launch something. This is an assignment we have been given from Toyota Japan. Enter the Indian market with an obnoxiously looking car. Anyways, this car is absolutely brilliant. Stays very glued to the road at high speeds, very stable, extremely well engineered, powerful engines as well. The only gripe is the price and of course the mileage as well, but nobody seems to mind that. Our kitna deti hai crowd and the value for money janta doesn't care a jack whether the Innova's pricing keeps rising every year, because the price has gone from what levels at one time when it was launched in 2005 to what it is now. It's absolutely crazy. You know, as a person, you should target to be the Toyota Innova, because the kind of appreciation it's got in terms of pricing is nothing short of unbelievable. And the mileage, although being low, nobody seems to mind it, because they're like, you know, we're going to drive this car all our lives, and if you want to sell it, we know someone's going to turn up at our doorstep and take the car at the price we want to sell it for. That is the power of the Toyota badge, and that is the power of the Toyota Innova. And these are the exact same words I've actually used in one of the Toyota videos on the Motibeam channel. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this Toyota Innova vlog. I had an absolute ball of a time driving it, but my personal preference would definitely be the 2.4 manual, because you just cannot replace stick shift. If you like this vlog, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye, take care. Before we shut, I want to ask you guys that do you think that the Mahindra Marazzo comes even close to offering the level of engineering which the Innova does, at least when you factor in the pricing? If not, do you think the Kia Carnival would be able to give the Toyota Innova Krista a run for its money? Well, do let me know in the comment section below. Meanwhile, I'm wondering, why don't we have a hot rod version of the Innova as well? But I'm just blabbering for no reason.